We have news updates this morning on Travis King, Sage Steele, and Madonna, and a few others, more than a few others actually. This is things you might have heard. This is for today being Wednesday, August the 16th, 2023, and we're going to give you in moments the latest in information for politics, current events, and pop culture news. We are your supplemental source for both mainstream and unconventional. A lot more unconventional today than mainstream because it was that sort of day, you can say. And we're going to do a little bit of monologuing and sort of bringing on the hate because I'll do it when I get to the story about Travis King. I'll tell you about the response I got to that and the response I got to that because it makes a difference in how the Conversation Project works. The Conversation Project is here for you, giving you the best in news information out there, unconventional and mainstream as well, and a chance to conversate. That is, talk to other people and have interactions with people around the world in various ways. Check out our main website at conversationproject.com for more details on how we do that to save less chatter here and more into the news. 8 stories for today that were voted the most conversational, plus some extra things as well. We'll explain that in about 12 minutes after we go through the headlines. So let's get to the headlines right now, shall we? Today, as we said, is Wednesday, August the 16th, and we are going to get into the news that you said was most conversational, and I did a little tweaking as well right here, right now. We start off with this big story here, and that's Mackenzie Shirilla, convicted of driving to a brick wall on purpose in order to murder her boyfriend and another young man. Now, we had a story yesterday that I thought by leaps and bounds was going to basically overtake things. This one, by leaps and bounds, may overtake that one. Mackenzie Shirilla, a teenager driving who purposely drove into a wall in order to kill her boyfriend and another person in the car. Check out the link because there's a whole lot to the story that the quick edit we have for this has on this one. Her defense lawyer says that the surveillance footage shows that Shirilla crashed on purpose, saying that it was done on purpose to kill these people in the car. The judge has agreed with this, and essentially the choice is that she will essentially pay the price for this crime. You want to go deeper in this one, check out the link from Law and Crime, and as we get a lot of stories of the true crime of the now going forward to go into detail for that one. This next story is going to bring on some hate and maybe some love, but mostly hate because of the response we had. The headline reads, North Korea says Travis King wants refuge from racism, mistreatment in the U.S. Army. This story is a very layered, very complicated story, so I'm going to do as quickly as I can in about 90 seconds and not go deep into that. I actually went a little into it yesterday with a TikTok video basically saying this. Travis King stepped over the line into North Korea because he said the army and the racism and mistreatment he had there was so bad, it was easier to go to North Korea or now some other country for some sort of refuge, some way to escape the racism of America. Now, we knew he was leaving Korea to go back to Texas to face more charges after spending about 50 or so days in a lockup in South Korea, in jail there. And so what he was going back to was not exactly a happy thing in the States. And so, sure, he tried to run, and saying going to North Korea is his actual case. Now, this is coming from North Korean media, which, oddly enough, isn't telling the North Koreans about this. They're telling us, they're not telling them. What this basically comes to mind is North Korea is kind of one of them countries where lies are the lies and the lies are the lies and the truth is always marred by the lies. So North Korea literally doesn't say anything that's not in their best interest. Everything is wonderful there, even though the people are starving and their technology is old and just decrepit. And so Travis King has not did a statement, no video, nothing going on, and he actually is being treated as a prisoner of war. And this is the first time we have anything close to proof of life, even though it's just a statement, and we really don't know where he is. He could be, in the words of North Korean, living freely in the streets in North Korea, or he could be locked up, as I said yesterday, just waiting to die. Now, the takes I got from yesterday were the fact that it was a bad take and nobody cares. People should care. It's an American in North Korea. The reason why people don't care, here are the words that I say, because he seems like an idiot and he's black. Two things that should not convict someone for anything, but may make a difference in why people don't seem to care about this guy and why it's such a big deal, even though they don't. You can send the hate to the conversation inbox at gmail.com, and you can start more hate towards me in 3, 2. Our next story goes to Florida. where it's another thing that's sort of black, just sort of by coincidence that it's in this order. But a Florida black man's college group could be forced to change its name under new state law. Now, there's a whole lot of crazy going on in Florida dealing with wokeism, but it really just turns into weird things on racism and just social interactions. There's a group at a historically black college that has a group with the name black in it, male black achievers. Because of the racism and diversity and all the laws that are kind of floating around in Florida right now, having something that identifies a specific group, and I don't have the full law in front of me, but Senate Bill 266 basically goes in effect. That means you can't impose an ideological agenda onto any group. So they may have to change their name to something else. Now, while that's not so much a big deal, it kind of is a big deal because it's the folks that are saying you need to advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion by basically whitewashing everything out there from saying this is a certain group is missing the point. You can go deeper in this story and see how this one goes by clicking the link in our details. If you want to send more hate, go ahead. 3, 2. Now, this headline is where the real hate may come to. Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard are beloved people. I actually love them very much. Not really a big fan of The Good Place, but liking Kristen Bell as an actress and the things that she does and the causes she goes for. But she's been kind of loud lately and just sort of being famously annoying, which may be why, partly because there's like nothing going on in the Hollywood game. Nobody's actually making anything. They're being highlighted because, as the headline says, Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard respond to claims they lied about being stranded at the airport. We had this story a few weeks ago where they had some videos and some posting about them being stuck in an airport because of some travel restrictions and things going wild. So they just had to stay in the airport until they can get on the flight out. Now, some people are saying maybe it's not exactly what happened. Shepard and Bell said they slept on the floor from the delayed flight, but TSA was trying to kick them out because of what was going on. And they essentially did. They basically sent them to a house to get them out of the airport and come back. So the whole thing seems to be a bit overblown, a little bit of a ruse. We shall see how this plays out. And while the love for Shepard and Bell should continue as pretty good actors and fairly good people, we're going to see if this one will be a blemish, not the cancelization, if you will, but a blemish kind of on that stature. Let's talk about this one, which has another layer of complexity into it. Sage Steele leaves ESPN after settling her lawsuit over COVID-19 vaccine. Now, people who actually follow this story and follow ESPN and follow the media, some people believe that she was gone already because she's essentially been off TV for quite some time. But she posted on social media yesterday that she's leaving ESPN Disney officially. Her First Amendment rights more freely, wants to be talked about. She wants to speak her own mind, so she is officially done with ESPN after she, settled a lawsuit on the words she said about COVID-19. Taken off air for 10 days and pulled from several of the high-profile assignments back in 2021 for criticizing ESPN's requirement that employees be vaccinated against COVID-19, which in many cases became one of the biggest issues of 2021. That wasn't COVID itself, but the vaccination itself. She didn't want to get vaccinated and did not want to go that way, so she got cut from some of the programming. And now that lawsuit is settled, now that everything is done, she's going to leave ESPN because she wants to speak her mind totally. Where should she go next? There are plenty of places that will probably take her as a very good journalist and a person that brings in eyeballs, especially with the statements that she says. We shall see where she goes, what happens next, and how well they do over there. Warner Brothers Discovery shutters IStreamPlanet. Did you know IStreamPlanet existed? I didn't, but apparently it no longer does, or at least as of now, it does not. Warner Brothers Discovery has closed IStreamPlanet, a Seattle-based company that allowed users to stream live traditional TV over the internet. Turner Broadcasting invested $200 million into IStreamPlanet in 2015. That allowed Turner to take advantage of the company's technology and cultivate future business opportunities on digital platforms. In 2023, now owned by Warner Brothers Discovery, they don't see the need, and it is now gone. Will you miss it? Probably not, but you can go deeper into the story and understand how the changing times and media times are affecting everyone and how maybe this affects you if you're using IStreamPlanet. I didn't know it existed with all the other ones out there, so apparently many folks did not either, meaning it was kind of, on the chopping block to save some money, because that's what Warner Brothers Discovery is trying to do, save some money and save a little face as well. Invasive cousin to murder hornet discovered in U.S. for first time. One of the biggest stories during COVID times when people were checking off all the disaster things that could happen was the murder hornet. And the murder hornet essentially went away fairly quickly, so we're good about that. The plague of frogs stayed around a little bit longer. Yes, there was a kind of a plague of frogs for a while. The cousin of the murder hornet, not the exact bee or exact hornet, if you will, but a cousin of it, the invasive hornet called the Vespa fellini, has been seen in Georgia. They have found many cases of it, and one of their nests can house up to 5,000 worker bees. That means a whole lot of hornets, holy fast. We're going to see how this thing goes and whether this gets a lot of traction and attention, which basically comes from the fact that it may or may not become a thing. So agriculture department in Georgia and the United States USDA are keeping a good eye on this thing right here. And very quickly, as the turmoil in Maui continues, here's the headline we want. There were many headlines we had. We had one about a man on vacation who took over some flights to get people to the mainland to volunteer his time. There's others about the warning systems, and we have more things going on that did not go off properly. We're targeting this one right here. Maui residents targeted in scams to grab land after tragedy, officials say. This sits me very close to home because, as I have said in my story, we are displaced because of tornado in our neighborhood. Many houses are damaged, many houses are gone, many houses flattened. And one of the things that the neighbors fear is people who just don't want to deal with it, can't have insurance come in fast enough, aren't having the help they need, and they're just selling the land to developers and renters or who are just going to make cheap houses and go with that. That's what's happening in Maui right now. People are being targeted for those cash on hand deals for their land, just getting their land for pennies on the dollars to essentially buy it up, build something cheap and ratty on that, and rent it out to people for exorbitant amounts of prices. This is something that's really big, and the folks at Maui, folks in any sort of disaster, have to deal with. This is something to keep an eye on, and we know that the Attorney General in Hawaii has a lot going on right now, but we know that one of the things that they have going on is keep an eye on things like this. Our errors, apologies, and omissions section. Very quickly, we had the 8 stories we had there. Because we had those 8 stories, we could not get into stories of 2 deaths that happened and were reported yesterday. The first death we have is Alex Collins, who is a former NFL running back and a running back in the state of Arkansas for the University of Arkansas. He died at the age of 28. Motorcycle incident. Also, Darren Kent, British actor from Game of Thrones and starred in the Dungeons and Dragons movie. He has also died at the age of 39. So how do we pick the stories that we just chatted up right here and the ones that didn't quite make it because of space? We do that with your help. You literally help us get this done. We do this by our feeds on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com/This Is a Conversation Project and Twitter or X /TH_conversation. What you do is you follow us on our feeds there. When you're checking your other stuff, your Twitter stuff, if you're still at Twitter, on your Facebook stuff, we tried to figure out how it was going on at Threads, but apparently they're losing ground because they don't have enough features, including the web interface that we need to do this thing. So when Threads comes back, or Threads comes up, if you will, we will get them there. You vote on the stories by your engagement. If you see one, we get a view of that. If you click on it and share it, like it, love it, do whatever you do to engage in it, we get to click on that. Whatever you do to engaging in it, the more engagement a story gets across the board, better chance we have of talking about it in the next show. Mondays, we do the whole weekend and give you 10 out of 30 of the top responses. On Tuesday through Friday, we give you 8. Apologies for that. We give you 8 stories from top 15 of the day. This story is one we may be talking about. We have had this one pop up in the 15. We've not really talked about it yet, but now is your chance to maybe bring it up. Tyree says he struggled with filing Home Depot lawsuit because it's his favorite place. The singer Tyrese, who broke in the scene with Sweet Lady way back and now more or less famous for being in Transformers and The Fast and Furious, is filed a lawsuit against Home Depot. It's kind of a big deal because we've kind of avoided it because of other states going out there, but maybe it's time to bring up Tyrese in this thing because he's speaking out about the lawsuit, saying he likes Home Depot. It's like Disneyland. Going to buy stuff, buy tools, buy equipment is his thing. But the lawsuit is there. We can talk about this if you deem it conversational. Go to our website, thisisaconversationproject.com, for more details on how that works, or simply just follow us on our feeds on Facebook and Twitter. Let's talk about our title sponsor, if you will, or our highlight sponsor for today. And that sponsor is going to be I Love RVing. If you are looking for a new way to take a vacation that's literally off the beaten path, RVs may be the way to go. They give you information. This website gives information on how to RV, where to RV, and where to get an RV if you want to buy one outright and just go for it, or renting them for places. It also helps you get to places so you can basically go to your destination, then get your RV. If you don't want to actually drive it across the country, go to that spot, pick up your RV, and then go to your campsite. Or if you want to look for some alternate way of travel, if you're an empty nester and it's like, we're done with this thing, we have plenty of kids to travel to, we have plenty of spaces to go hang out and sit at, let's get an RV and let's live in an RV. We don't need the stuff. We have a lot of stuff. We're not ready to retire. That's me and the family. And the kid has so much stuff. Don't think she'd like living in an RV. But it's something to use for vacationing and travel and camping, because camping outside in 100-degree weather kind of sucks. So go get yourself an RV. Check it out at iHeartRVing. It is a link we have to, you can get to more details on this at this. It's a conversationproject.com/RV. It's that simple. This is an affiliate link, so if you use their services, you check them out, then we get a cut back from this. But there's a lot of stuff you get here that's absolutely free. It's just reading the information for iHeartRVing. If you're looking for a new way to vacation, iHeartRVing may be your new way for vacationing. A very quick look into the Conversation Project. We are at this is theconversationproject.com. That is our main website that houses all this stuff. You have the archives, if you will, links to past episodes of things you might have heard, past episodes of the weekly wrap-up and the story of the week, the newsletter basically posted in a blog post there on the website, and links to find us at various places where you can watch me, you can send hate, you can send love if you want to. Now, we do need your help. If you've been here this long, and we have live viewers popping in and out, so I know some of you guys are watching me live at 5:50 in the morning, you can find the links to not watch me live, watch me later on in the day at the website. You can also be a part of the show by following in the feeds and engaging in the stories, emailing us at theconversationinbox@gmail.com. And of course, if you think we're doing good work or want to see me go away, you can go to our partnerships page or sponsors page and help fund things, if you will. Like I said, all of our sponsors links we use are affiliate links, so you must buy from them, but it costs you nothing extra. We are just your concierge into the store. And the partnerships page allows you to directly interact with us for things to make things better or make them less worse in some cases. The biggest thing you can do is, of course, follow us on the feeds and email us with your responses, even if there are, not so nice hate responses. We're looking for comments and commentary that makes the show better. But if it really is just that take sucks, I'll take it, because that is a comment and commentary that can make the show better, unless you're just trolling, and this is the internet, and there's plenty of that going on. Now, the good stuff, the really, really good stuff is here now. We're getting that off right now, so let's get on to that for the 16th of August, 2023, and we start off with birthdays. Birthday twins, Angela Bassett and Madonna. We highlighted Madonna in the open because Madonna's in the news more. Angela Bassett, of course, close enough being in the news. I think she got nominated for her roles in the last Black Panther movie, but of course, doing that is kind of amazing as it is. But both of them, both beautiful, beautiful ladies, hitting the big 6'5" on this day. Happy birthday to you, ladies. And hopefully Madonna will get that tour kicked off very soon, because I know that a lot of people, 80s folks and even younger, want to see her do her thing right now. Steve Carell, believe it or not, is 61 years old on the day. It's hard to believe that that guy is that old and been doing this thing for that long, but he is. Steve Carell, 61 years old on this day. Our history lesson for this day starts off with us looking at the past in 1977. Back on the 16th of August in 77, Elvis Presley died at his Graceland mansion in Memphis of a heart failure caused by the abuse of prescription and painkillers. It was a tragic death. The Elvis on the climb, the fat Elvis, as basically was, not doing so well in life and just in business at the time. It was a changing time, changing days, and people weren't quite as into Elvis as he was, and he was dealing with it in probably what we see here today as probably a deep depression that could have been, intervened in sort of times in these days. So if we thought more like that back then. But this is the day that Elvis died in 1977. In 2014, continued riots in Ferguson, Missouri over the shooting death of teenager Michael Brown by police officers resulted in the announcement of a state of emergency and curfew by Governor Jay Nixon. The Michael Brown incident in Ferguson, all these incidents very complicated in the time where essentially a lot of the Black Lives Matter started to come into fruition, where this coming off of Trayvon Martin, this coming off of just sort of the, I will say, institutionalized bouts of issues between races in policing, and not a lot has actually changed, if you will. There's a lot of more talk in fixing policing and doing more policing, but this usually turns into a fight over defunding the police, bad idea, and how to just do more community things. In recent months, literally months, we've had many incidents of black people who have been assaulted and killed by officers, both black and white, that have been attributed to just bad policing in most cases, and in some cases, some underlying things going on. Now, we do see more of these things for black or people of color than in other, well, essentially white people. So there's got to be a thing. There's something to this. Now, if you want to add some anger to that one, you can send your hate to that one as well. But this is one thing that happened on the day, which is a good day to sort of bring this up. And in 2022, reports surfaced that a couple of sextuagenarians, totally butchered that, in India welcomed their first baby in 54 years of marriage, making them one of the oldest couples in history to have a baby. 75-year-old Jopodhan and his 70-year-old wife Chakvati had been trying to have a baby for apparently quite a while, and after 2 failed IFV procedures, Chakvati finally became pregnant, and the pair welcomed a healthy baby boy. We don't have an update on this. This happened just last year, but the oldest couple to have a baby by themselves, with a little help from IVF, happened on this day back last year. Celebrating on today, Bratwurst Day, and today is a great day to get you a nice brat and just relax. I think we have a ball game here. We have a minor league ballpark and team here. I think we have a ball game today, so it might be a good day. And it's one of the last cooler days. Only going to get in the high 80s today before it goes back to high 90s tomorrow. So this might be a day to go hit the ballpark and just hang out and relax and get a brat today. So that may be on the bill today. If not, maybe we'll just sneak some home from the grocery store and make a couple here at the house. Celebrate Bratwurst Day as you want to, and as we also said, you can also sort of comp time it and get a bratwurst in the weekend if you already have plans for your Wednesday, which I will get to our plans for the Wednesday in a bit. Now, because beer goes great with bratwurst, we're going to talk about water. One more thing you might not have heard. Americans are shelling out loads of money on reusable water bottles, basically fixing the problem with all the unreusable water bottles. In 2020, Americans were spending $1.5 billion on reusable water bottles, a figure that in 2022 stood at over $2 billion. So we are spending more on the reusable water bottles. That is good. That is great. One of the biggest issues about the reusable water bottles is during the COVID times, a lot of water fountains, a lot of sources of water were shut off, so it was hard to get the reusable water bottles to any good use. Gyms had the little things where you put them in there, but it was hard to do that. Now that we're opening things back up, reusable water bottles are back up again. So go grab you one to reuse and save the environment of the plastic bottles. And get fresh water. Get you one of those Brita pitchers so you can filter your own water. That's probably the best way to do that. And the best way to wrap things up is to just get off the air. Wednesday, the 16th of August, 2023. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne, and this has been Things You Might Have Heard for this day. It's 16th of August. We want you to be a part of the show, and you literally are a part of the show by telling us what to talk about in the show by going to our feeds on Facebook and Twitter and giving us a laydown of what we should be talking about. That's very simple. Facebook and Twitter allow you to engage in the stories. Higher engagement stories get a chance to be pulled for the show in the day. Email me at the conversation inbox at gmail.com with any comment you have, whether it's a great comment, a trolling comment, or whatever. I'm game. You only grow from what's thrown at you, so give it to me. I can take it. We can deal with that. We really ask you to stay limber, stay hydrated, and stay on task, because that is what life is all about. Being alive and keeping life things going. So do what you can to elongate, not the right word to say in this case, your life. Keep your life going as long as possible without you interfering and making it shorter. That's the big thing. Keep making sure that you're not screwing it up to shorten your lifespan based on what's happening. And We want you back here tomorrow. Thursday will be a grand, glorious day. We're going to call it right now. It's been a lot going on this week. There's about a lot happening, and a lot of the really, really bad stories are weighing down a lot of folks. I'm seeing that in the comments and the back and forths. And if you think I have bad takes, tell me I have bad takes. Just watch my stuff, please. We're done for the day. Let's get into this day, Wednesday, as I say this live, getting off the air. Should probably stop that because this thing replays over and over again. And let's get into this. We'll do this again for a Thursday edition with the news for, oddly enough, Wednesday.